I'm Jeanne Duca, Chief Marketing Officer for BCN, and I'm thrilled today to have as my guest Justin Marano, the Chief Revenue Officer for Sandler Partners. Welcome to the program, Justin.
Thank you, Jenny.
Really great to talk with you. And getting started, can you believe it's been 6 years or more since you've been with Sandler? Time really flies.
It does, especially, you had COVID mixed in there. It's been about 5.5, but yes, certainly an amazing journey. I feel so blessed of having the privilege to work at amazing organizations in my career, right? We talk to so many people and we see a lot of movement in the channel, right? I'm certainly on the provider side and now even more so on the TSD side. Um, Folks don't always get the opportunity to work in a great culture with great leadership. And I've been fortunate enough to have that multiple times in my career. So very humbled and blessed for the opportunities.
That's great. That's great to hear. And we have that in common in terms
Yes.
of feeling blessed about where we're working and the people we're working with and the work that we're doing, quite honestly. So
Yeah.
wonderful to hear. And I
Okay.
know that in the time you've been there, you've done a lot to fine tune and further hone the go-to-market strategy for the company. You've also built an incredible team, which is very apparent. And as the Chief Revenue Officer, tell me a little bit more about what's on your radar every day. I mean, are there differences from being focused exclusively on sales and now as Chief Revenue Officer, does that change?
Yeah. Well, today, not just sales, but sales engineering, partner services, partner experience, all roll up to me. But in the role, I kind of interact with all departments, whether it's marketing or commission or finance or IT. Um, you know, every day on any given day, I'm talking to a half a dozen to 10 partners, I mirror that on the provider side. So I'm talking to as many providers, and uh, we don't claim to know it all. I think, unlike some other organizations, the buck stops with Alan and I. And I think for better or for worse, we get it right most of the time. But if we don't, we course correct really quickly. And we beat to the drum of our partners. We're not making decisions in a vacuum. So staying informed, talking to our partners, what are their needs, making sure we're filling all the holes in our boat and delivering them the experience that they need. But also talking to our provider partners. It's not just
Mhm.
about our trusted advisor partners because we always want to meet organizations more than halfway. We don't have our hand out. We want to be collaborative. And in order to do so, you have to have conversation with the decision makers and the channel leaders and executives and the sales leaders at the organizations that are in our portfolio.
Right. You know, it's so interesting that you talk about those conversations. And one of the things that I think about when we talk about the importance of relationships in this channel, which I think we all recognize and really place a high value on, it's really about listening, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Less talking, more listening, and acting on what you hear and checking back in. Hey, we heard you. We made these changes. Did we do it right? Did we understand what you were looking for? And so I think that's what you're saying, and I love that because I know at BCN we try to do the same thing. Whether again it's with our TSDs like Sandler Partners or the technology advisor community, or for us it's on the buy side, all of those carrier and technology partners that we're procuring services from.
Absolutely. And we host our formal advisory boards for our, top tier partners, but it's not just about them, as much as it is, making sure we're talking to everyone about, hey, here's where we are, here's how we got here, here's how we're going, here's how we're getting there. What are your thoughts? And the more perspective that you could get, the better you're going to be making decisions.
Yes, and that leads me to my next question, which is you, Alan, the team that you've built, obviously you really have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the market. So with the advent of more and more applications driven by AI, digital transformation initiatives across the companies that we all sell to, how does your team help those customers and prospects kind of cut through the noise and focus on what's really important when it comes to more and more bandwidth requirements, the security requirements for that bandwidth, and layering on of technology? How do you help make things that are really complex a little bit more simple for those prospects and customers?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's something that we talk about every day, and we've made so much progress as an organization in the short 5.5 years I've been here. I always joke when I first started at Sandler, I used to have a panic attack when I logged into our portal because it was so archaic. And now, it's up there with um, one of the best, if not the best, and
Mhm.
tools and resources and Scout for Solutions and Solution Finder and our marketing center, and the ability to audit commissions, which is one of the biggest differentiators of Sandler is how great of a job our commission and finance team does in terms of making sure that our partners are paid on time and accurately, and if they're not advocating on their behalf. But it really comes down to the people. I think when you peel back the layers, right, all things being equal,
Mhm.
regardless of the TSD you work with, they're going to have their self-service tools, right, and tools that enable partners to be as independent and self-sufficient as possible. The common denominator is always the people, right? And we've had a strategy here of bringing on extremely talented folks, right? Not just people that are going to go out, bring tchotchkes to a partner's office and buy them a meal, right? It's about the value that they deliver on the front lines by being sophisticated when it comes to technology, by having a really well-rounded, diverse background. And if things get overcomplicated, like all TSDs, we have an engineering team, right? That's there to educate partners and if needed, get on a phone with a customer and run a discovery call to identify the opportunity or uncover opportunities that might not have been thinking about. So it's the team. And, as proud as I am of the growth that we've had in terms of revenue, as the chief revenue officer, obviously, we've gone from about 7 million a year in MRR to over 33 million
Oh my
in
goodness.
2024, and we're going to outpace that in 25. Um, those are impressive numbers, but what I'm most impressed by is the recruitment of partners. We've had 20 to 30% year over year growth. We'll do over 1,400 new partners this year. That's over five a day. And when I profile these partners, um, believe it or not, most of them are new to the channel, right? Most of them,
Really?
uh, there's some business that we're taking, and I'm sure our competitors take stuff from us, but 80% of the partners we bring on board are new to the channel. And it highlights for me how healthy this industry is, how healthy this channel is.
Mhm.
And, that's what excites me the most as we go forward. And believe it or not, they're coming to us much more sophisticated when it comes to technology, MSPs, MSSPs, that are entrenched with their customers, but are
Yeah.
now realizing that if they're not competing across all the customers' technology needs, then they're going to lose business to their competition. So
Mhm.
businesses that historically might not have played in this world that we've lived for so many years are
Right.
now realizing that they have to.
Interesting. It's so interesting too because the channel continues to grow and grow and grow and become even more critical, um, not only for companies like BCN and certainly for, companies like Sandler, but if you think about some of the big network and technology providers that we work with, that you work with, the channel has taken an even stronger role and position in those organizations as well. And I think that really validates, if you will, the importance of what we do and the go-to-market strategy that is the channel. And we go to market exclusively through the channel. So I'm a little bit biased, but I think the validation is across the board that this really is continues to be such a strong, strong community.
Yeah.
What's coming next for Sandler?
Uh, I mean, we've made so much progress as an organization here, not just in the investments that we've made in technology and innovation and development,
Mhm.
but when I started, there were four channel managers, and we just hired our 18th.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, so markets where Sandler historically didn't have a presence, we now have a body, right? Flying the Sandler colors, and we're going to continue to grow and be really strategic about where we put people. Um, so just continuing the journey, continuing to provide new tools and resources for our trusted advisors. And I run the committee internally that looks at what new providers we should be talking to,
Oh,
and where we are with existing negotiations. We are very, very selective. We are not built like everyone else. I think we have a little over 200 providers, and that may sound like a lot, and frankly, it is a lot, but
right.
it's probably half of what um, you know the other TSDs are running with.
I see.
So
Yeah,
the strategy is trying to find that fine line between healthy competition and oversaturation, and making sure that we're the tip of the sword. We are very diligent when it comes to vetting these providers. Do they have a proven platform, a proven product? We do a deep dive financial review. Can they pay us, right? How are they going to support
sure.
the channel? So the ecosystem here is, very tight and well thought out. We don't just bring everyone on. You can't manage all those relationships. It becomes a distraction.
Exactly.
It's a little bit of everything: technology, innovation, development, people, new potential suppliers, um, all the above.
Right, right. It's really interesting because sometimes you think more is better, but in the case, as you point out, I mean, when you're trying to direct and curate solutions, and help curate solutions from that list of providers that you have, it really helps to have done that legwork up front to know that the people you're bringing to the table, the companies you're bringing to the table for your technology advisor and their customer really are the right companies.
Yeah,
And I know we appreciate that. We appreciate the fact that, we work so closely together with you and that when you bring us into an opportunity, you do it because you know that we can deliver, that we've proven that we can deliver, and there's a lot of confidence there and a lot of trust, which I think is so important in our relationship and in any relationship.
what differentiates um, success a lot of times.
It's very true. I mean, you know people as people, right? Not just as a name on an org chart or someone you get an email from. You really take the time to get to know them and make those connections because we all have that. We all have these multiple facets in our life, and work is just one of them. And you've
Yeah.
always been great at connecting on that personal level. I know for us, we've known each other for many, many years with Rich, with others, in our company as well. So
Sure.
we do really appreciate it. And listen, speaking of connecting, I have to ask you, 13,000 followers on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. What that is really something. I'm
Yeah.
very, very impressed.
I wish I could say I had a digital marketing specialist that was doing all that for me, but it's a little bit of my OCD. I'm connecting with every partner that we're bringing on board, and I'm not on any other social media platforms, believe it or not. No Facebook. I may have an Instagram account, but I couldn't even tell you if I've logged in. And that's, the business side is my world, but it's also the personal side, as we talked about.
Sure.
So yeah, when you're doing this for 25 plus years, right, you tend to know a lot of people in this business. It may just be a time more than anything else.
Sure. It takes time to hone that network, to build it, to maintain it. It's not something you can drop in and out of. And I think that's another thing that makes you stand out is that when you're in it, you're in it with all of the people that you're close to. So I know again that we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for that. And I appreciate you guys as well. And I appreciate the opportunity to come here today and chat with you.
Thank you so much. Well, we look forward to seeing you soon, I'm sure. And thank you. Best to Alexis and to Jackson,
Thank you.
that wonderful little man who keeps you outside all the time.
Yes, he does.
That's what really makes the world go around, right?
Why I do what I do every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Justin, as always, it's such a pleasure to see you. You've done so much at Sandler, from an awareness standpoint, from a brand standpoint, from a sales standpoint. We're just really so thankful to be part of your ecosystem and to have you be part of ours. So thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you as well. Appreciate you.
Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Justin, for being our guest today. It was really a pleasure to speak with you. And to our viewers, stay tuned for more of the industry's leading voices coming up on Beyond the Network in future episodes. Have a great day, everyone.